Welcome to the Tony Gomez Show tonight. It's Thursday, 9 p.m., and I've got Kryptik fucking Mutation in the house. How's it going tonight, guys?
Pretty well, man.
Awesome.
Hell yeah.
It's going good, brother.
It's going rad.
Super excited to have you guys on the show. I got you guys. I caught your set probably 2-3 weeks ago at the Artisan. And dude, y'all are fucking bad, dude. I loved it. So I had to grab a vinyl on the way out. So I'm glad that I got the pulled from the pit vinyl. And dude, it fucking rips, dude. That's a badass fucking album, man. I'm really proud of that. And you guys executed fucking very tightly on that whole album that night. It feels like you played every track on it.
No, we for sure played like some tracks off of there and some tracks off of the upcoming album that we have that we've been working on.
Yeah, I heard you. Yeah. I definitely remember you saying you had a new track that you played that night.
Yeah,
we had a couple actually.
Dude, that was a fucking sick show, and that's the first time I'd ever been to the Artisan. Pretty cool place.
It was cool. I liked it. Yeah, it was the first time for us as well.
I like that they have something downtown for fucking, hardcore and extreme fucking metal. It's nice for a change.
Yeah,
For sure.
Man, well, you guys just finished getting off the road with Abolishment of Flesh, man. What was that tour like for y'all?
It was pretty tight. We've known Destructive Cell. They were also on tour with us as well, amongst the three that were on the road. And Abolishment of Flesh, like that was our first time being with them on the road. And I mean, they're awesome guys. Like it's you know how it goes whenever a bunch of cool guys are playing metal together. It is what it is. It's fun,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
I've known Raymond for a while. Like with our other band, Blast Perversion, we played West Texas Death Fest. What year was that, Dan? I don't know, maybe 2012, 2013. So I've known Raymond, the main singer from Abolishment and guitar player. And so yeah, when he reached out to us saying, "Hey man, thinking about doing a tour, you guys want to jump on?" I was pretty excited, man. I was like, let's do it.
Hell yeah, way to team up with those guys, old schoolers, man. Been at you guys fucks and back 2012, you said? Yeah, with Blast Perversion? Hell yes.
Yeah.
Fucking heavy shit from the valley right there, man. And so let's get started by let me asking you which one of you guys started up the band and how did things get going? Was it back in 2019?
Yeah, I'd say Fred would be the one that was for sure like the seed of the band. So he asked for me to start watering it, I guess you could say, because we were he asked me about it, like if I wanted to get together and start up some music. And then he revealed something to me about this guy over there, which was.
Yeah, so I got the bug again to start jamming and making music again after a short hiatus. And I reached out to Danny and I said, "Hey, dude, like I wanna make some music again. Like I'll pay you. Would you do some drums on a project for me?" And he was like, "Dude, fuck that. I'll just jam with you. You don't have to pay me. Like let's just jam for the hell of it and for fun." And like right away, it like sounded really good. It felt very natural and. It kind of just took off from there very, very organically.
Yeah, so essentially Fred brought up to me that Danny was interested. So and then Efren was also like already like in the mix of it happening too. So it was pretty quick in a sense where everyone was kind of like, "Hey, you want to do this?" Yeah, and everyone's saying yes. John came in a little bit later, but like I said, that little later was very fast regardless. So
kind of a funny story though, because so Efren was originally the second guitar player for Kryptik.
Yeah.
And
shit! All right.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. He was originally the bass player, but Efren was writing really cool riffs on guitar, which are on.
Oh.
And the thing is that I had the right idea. I was like, "Man, Efren, why don't you just play guitar? We'll find a bass player." And that's when we were basically like, "Oh man, like." We hadn't found anybody, but they were like, "Dude, just get John. Like, he's a great guitarist. Let's have him on bass."
Yeah.
And so we had, amongst the band, the best bass player playing guitar, and then, really good guitarist playing bass. And we're all just like, "Duh, maybe we should like switch." And like, "Oh yeah." And then,
well, it's funny because, first of all, me, Fred, and Efren, we used to have a band even before Blast Perversion called Undying Prophecy. So I've known these guys since 2005, 2004, 2006. So I've known these guys for a long time. Well, we started hanging out again, and that's when I started getting involved with the Kryptik stuff. And Efren's like, "Hey, dude, like, just come on bass." And after a while, I'll just like throw the idea at the guys for us to switch.
I didn't know that.
Dude, cool. We're gonna try to like do a little deception, but no, it worked out. Everybody was like, "Yeah, it makes more sense for you guys."
Yeah, and
So
I mean, we all. I'm sorry to say we owe a lot to Danny because Danny was pretty much that the Kryptik Mutation jam space was, you know, at his place at the time. So.
All right.
Yeah. So pretty cool origin story there.
Yeah. So are you Trevino's brothers?
No,
Nah,
not related.
Nah. I like that. So you guys worked it out on your own between each other, Efren and John. You know what? It's a good idea. Maybe we switch. And then you showed up at practice, say, "Hey, guess what? We're gonna do this."
Yeah. Once we switched, you know, everything fell into place. Everything felt good. You know, hearing Efren fucking slapping the bass and fucking all that shit, it felt good, man, for sure.
It was super funny.
Yeah, that was fun for a while, right? While it lasted. Are you still writing riffs on guitar, Efren?
Yeah, man. Actually, yeah. On this album, I got a couple of songs on there, and it's a. I mean, when I write riffs on the bass, it's totally different from the guitar. So if try to mesh both, like it actually sounds pretty good. I mean, to my opinion, but yeah, man, I still write a lot of riffs. I have like probably like 4 or 5 songs written, but we're still working one by one.
Yeah.
Cool. Who else primarily writes the music?
Actually, all of us.
That's a good question, and it's a really cool answer too, because all of us play guitar. Like, you know, even Danny, myself, we all play guitar. Like everyone in here are guitarists. So we
wow.
Just like in Pulled from the Pit, I wrote one song on guitar in there. And then
which one?
So we'll take a guess. Which one do you think it would be? Like based off of me being like the
like that's a good question. All right, Chris. All right.
Pretty boy that would write the pretty riffs. I don't know if you're familiar with all the songs, but I'll just tell you, it was Demon's Crest.
Hold on, don't say it.
I already said it.
Well, shit, I'm sorry, I spoke over you. What is it?
It's Demon's Crest.
Demon's Crest. Oh, okay, tight. Fuck yeah, dude. That's a bad one. Yes. All right. Yeah, I was gonna say Dying to Rot.
No, that was the first song, right? I think that was our first song that we wrote together. Or Brain Splatter.
Brain Splatter was our first song we came together.
Yeah.
No shit.
Dying to Rot was the second one.
Very cool. Very cool. Okay. And what about the lyrics? Who comes out with all the lyrics?
Yeah,
all right. That's always been my job in all my bands too, man. If I'm singing, I'm writing all the lyrics, and I really would rather just write all my own lyrics instead of having somebody else write them for me, because it's easier for me to remember.
That is true. You know, as a vocalist, I always feel like not so much pressure, but I want to make sure, like for myself, that I'm not using the same words in every song. You know what I mean? And the way I go about my my lyrics is it's very storytelling. You know, like as if like, you know, Stephen King type of vibes, or like even like the Haunt of Fear comic books back then. It's very I'm very influenced by like a lot of horror movies and sci-fi and even video games. You know what I mean? Just everything that I love, I try to translate that into my lyrics and all that whenever I start the writing process. I do love collaborating though. Like in this next album, John wrote a complete song lyrically, excuse me.
Shit.
Fred also, yeah. So I'm not really opposed to like collaborating whatsoever. Like you know, it kind of just like how we said we all like to write guitar riffs and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all hearing what somebody wants to like write lyrically as well. So. And
that is very cool, man. Good to have an open mind like that, working with all the guys, because you guys had sick minds already to come up with the stuff you've already come, you know, musically. So if you got some lyrics coming from some of the other guys, Chris, man, it's like, wow, fuck yeah, let me check it out, because it takes a little bit off of your plate. It works. Yeah. Everybody wins.
Yeah, and I don't mind like having that on my plate, but like I said, I like to have the whole team effort. Like, try it out. You know what I mean? I'm not like stingy about it. You know what I mean? I like everyone's input and stuff, like when it comes to like the band. I feel the only thing that we can't do is fucking what Danny does on drums. You know what I mean? Like I have zero input on this fucking blast machine of drums. You know what I mean? So
yes,
yeah.
So y'all rehearse over at Dan's place. Is What's the songwriting process like? Are y'all bringing riffs and kind of putting things together, or are y'all recording things, sending to each other ahead of time, and then having something to work on when you get together?
So,
what's it like?
Well, I guess it kind of varies. I think on the first album, so first of all, the first album was mainly written by these other guys. I kind of joined a little bit late. But I think for the first album, we all kind of collaborate, right?
Yeah, it's just by jamming, man.
Yeah, just improvising on the spot, jamming with Dan.
Add a riff, he'll come up with another one. Cool, we got a song.
Yeah, but for this next album coming up, we all kind of wrote our own songs, and then we all came together and kind of pretty much, it was probably 90% original, and then maybe an idea or two to switch one little part here and there. Yeah,
nice.
The next album, it's going to be a good variety of different, like, you know, a little bit more extreme, a little bit more thrashy, a little bit more punky, more melodic. So it's going to be a cool mix for this next one, man.
Oh, it's going to be fucking bad. I can only imagine. You guys are just veterans, man. So you keep getting better at your craft and getting better at expressing the ideas that you come across and putting them out there as a band. You know, you got great chemistry together, man. On stage, everybody looked great, having fun together, laughing. You know, telling jokes before. So good chemistry. I can tell you guys have been together for a while. Reading up on your bio, you know, your close friends that just had a love for extreme metal, like you said earlier, Chris. You know, horror movies, video games, and it's like shit. That's all we need, man. Fucking good friends and fucking great gear to fucking put all this fucking shit together. And fucking some great ideas behind some fucking horror movies and video games. So, thinking about that, what are some horror movies that or video games as well that, inspired some of the music and lyrics for some of the songs on Pulled from the Pit?
So for sure, if you notice the Pulled from the Pit album cover itself, anyone out there that's ever played Mortal Kombat, that's like a straight influential title that we put in there, Pulled from the Pit. And if you notice the guys are like stuck in there, that's a throwback to some of the stuff that freaked me out as a kid when I saw it. Like, holy shit, this guy just lying out on a pit of spikes. And the creature that's pulling them out, that's all John Carpenter, The Thing influence. You know what I mean? So and as far as music wise, Demon's Crest is a song about a video game based off of the same title, Demon's Crest. And another thing, I always like to write like real, like almost like obscure, like niche title or songs. Tied Under a Buzzsaw. That's literally based off of a arcade game back in the 80s, Ninja Gaiden. If you lost in that game, the continue screen was a guy tied under a buzzsaw, and if you don't put in a quarter by the time it reaches, then he's dead. So I wrote based off of that.
Cool.
So, just anything I can kind of throw in there, like subliminally, like if you're a big nerd, you're gonna get it, right?
Yeah.
And in fact, this upcoming album, Efren wrote a song for us on guitar, and we titled it Skeletorture. Now, that song, Skeletorture, it's with Skeletor, amongst the Master of the Universe series, right?
Yes.
I decided to be very ambitious, and I took almost all of like the villains of that, Master of the Universe, and I implemented them with a play on words lyrically. Like, it's going to be pretty heavy and very nerdy, I guess you could say, but in a badass way. So so I love doing all that kind of stuff. So
yeah, for me, for my one song on this album, for my other band, Visions of Annihilation, I take a lot from the video game series of Diablo. I don't know if you're familiar with that game, but
yes, Diablo, yes.
Gothic barbarians, demons and magic and creatures and huge battles. So a lot of my lyrics actually stem from that game. Actually, so that's kind of where I get a lot of my influence from.
Was there like what song would you say was kind of a lot of like Diablo?
So it's gonna be on the second album.
Okay, it's coming up. Yeah,
it's called Reanimating the Glacial Spawn. Kind of a long title, but Reanimating the Glacial Spawn. Yeah, so that one's kind of based on one part of the game from there. And we have also my other band, Visions of Annihilation. I have a couple of tracks on that are Diablo influenced. Yeah.
All right, Vision of Annihilation. Fuck yes. Hey,
yeah, and because Chris brought it up, the album cover. Just a shout out to Andrei Buzikov, who did the album art. We kind of described a loose concept of what we were looking for, and gave him free reign to design that album cover, and he fucking knocked it out of the park. And it's like, I couldn't be happier with the outcome, and working with him, being a fan already of his art from Holocaust and Municipal Waste and countless other bands. It was super awesome to have him create an album art for us. And I don't know if we want to announce it. Can we say, like, he's actually working on the album cover for the next album.
Oh, that's badass. Speaking of, let me reach for it. I got it right here in my vinyl stack. Give me a second while I reach for it. I should have already had it on my desk. But of course, the record we're talking about right here.
Yeah.
From the pit. Man, I did that artwork, dude. I love artwork like that, brother. It's what I want to. I know that it's, you know, when I see it, it's gonna be brutal.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of
stuff, man. Hell yeah.
I'm a big fan of like the artwork selling the idea of it being badass, and then when you actually listen to it, oh, this is bad. You know what I mean? It helps. It pushes a bit.
I know it's fucking extreme metal, dude, without a doubt. Hell yes. If you don't get it by Kryptik Mutation by the title, you get it by the rest of the visual you got here. That's the way to go. Oh, dude. So having him do the artwork, dude, that's awesome. And staying with you guys for the next album, man, keep him on board, dude. It's awesome.
No, I was gonna say what's funny about the cover is that it's actually kind of a bright colored cover, right? And that typically wouldn't be like a death metal. It might be dark colors or, you know, deep reds. But it's still brutal. That's what I like. One thing I like.
I think it helps it stand out from other albums.
Right. Exactly. You know, some because the dark ones and there'll be all this detail and it's great for what it's got going on, but this, it stands out on its own, man. I really love it. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I want to get. I'm sure you got the T-shirts of it, right?
We did make a run. We did. We definitely need to make another run of that for sure. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to grab one next time you guys are back in Corpus. Hell yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
So what I also wanted to mention is you guys said in your reading up on y'all, you're very inspired by Suffocation. Have you ever had a chance to maybe open for the band or meet the guys before?
Open for the band? Nah.
Me and Danny have. Wait, do you guys? Oh no, our other Blaster version has opened up. Yeah, we opened up for Suffocation once here in McAllen at CNLA, and super cool dude. Like, super down to earth, like to have a good time. You know, real friendly. They were talking to me about the future album coming out and all that stuff, and they're cool dudes, man. Cool dudes. I don't know if Danny has anything to say.
Shout out to everybody in the Suffocation camp, man. Badass guys right there. I know their drum tech, Dave Lozano Jr., drummer for Devastation and Idolatry, man. Me and him went to high school together, and he's been by their side for probably a good decade, if not longer, with the Suffocation camp. And Dave's such a badass drummer in his own right. You know, if you're familiar with the Idolatry album, man, there's some great shit on that one. Nothing that Daniel couldn't fucking bust out. I'm not, you know, because I'm blessed to be able to play in another band that Daniel's a part of, Annihilator. And fuck, dude, he's the fucking man, dude. He's a blast. He's a machine. And, you know, on top of it all, he's a super great guy to get along, to jam with. And I can't say enough great things about you, Dan. And you guys really got the machine, man. When you got him at the beginning right there, Fred, I mean, it was like, yes, that was what we needed, man, because you build off a fucking off an amazing drummer, and you guys are unstoppable, man, because everybody brings their own, you know, you couldn't do without Fred, you couldn't do without John, Ephraim, or yourself, Chris. But having that mix and having that catalyst right there of Dan Stalin right there, and him just, you know, from the beginning saying, nah, man, let's just jam. You ain't got to pay me. I mean, fuck, that's the man. That's the man, man.
Yeah, speaking of that, we're excited for that Austin show next month, man, with you guys. So, Kryptik and Annihilator. August 23rd.
Whole Dan's ready. He's pulling double duty that night.
That's gonna be fucking badass, dude. And with Sex Cult, right? Yes. Oh yeah, it's already coming up, the 23rd. Shit, that's great, bro. It's gonna be badass. Good. I'm gonna grab a T-shirt that night. Okay, so you know, so every song had a reference, you know, to a horror movie. Let me skip this one right here because we kind of got into that earlier. But what I wanted to get to was. tell me about the show, or maybe some shows that you did over in Mexico, man. Y'all went across the border. How were you received, and what are the crowds like?
Well, we played in McAllen with Asesino. This was I don't know, like what, 2 years now? I think it's been.
2 3 years.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
like
dude, that was a badass run, dude. They're so sick.
We opened for them at one show in McAllen, and we were the opening band. And it just so happened that the promoter from the Hell in Heaven Fest in Mexico was there to watch Asesino, but he saw us and was just, you know, he was very cool about like, hey, you know, we'll keep in touch. I'd love to have you guys play in Mexico sometime. And he meant, this was before anyone knew that Pantera was getting back together. And he had said, yeah, we're going to have Pantera there. And I remember I was like, okay. Like I thought, sure. I was like, I don't think this guy is legit. You know what I mean? Because I was like, all right, sure. You know, I'm a nice guy. So like, oh yeah, just keep in touch. And I just kind of was like, I don't know what that meant, whatever. Right. But then we got an email, I don't know, like months later, and it showed us the lineup. And in fact, it did say Pantera. And I'm like, dude, is this fucking real? And turned out that was going to be their debut. Yeah. And we
remember that. Wow, dude.
We technically opened that show, even though we played like at 4 p.m. and they played like at 10 and 11. So, but yeah, we went all the way over there to Toluca, Mexico. And
that rules.
That was very nice, man, because the people out there are extremely nice. So it was a good experience. I know for myself, I've never experienced anything like that before, that opportunity, you know. So it gave us that taste of like, man, I want to hopefully do this, you know, more often. You know what I mean?
Right. Hell yes. Damn, catching a bug like that, dude. Oh, dude. Wow, what a show. What a show. So you stayed the whole night and checked out the Pantera reunion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't get back to like 4 in the morning, dude.
Yeah, a couple too many modelos, man.
Oh, shit, right.
I think everyone has like stories of that night, and I'll say mine. I was fucking freezing, like I was cold. So it was really cool. But at the end of the night, I was just like, dude, I'm dying. You know what I mean? So and no joke, like I was so cold. I was asking you, like, dude, I don't mean to be, you know, invading your personal space, but I'm really cold. Can you please shed some form of body warmth for me, please?
It was kind of funny. So like because we played, so they had 5 different stages, right? And we played, you know, one of the stages farther in the back. We got a VIP wristband, and me and Efren were like, hey, dude, I think maybe Fred too. We're like, hey, dude, let's go see how fucking deep in the backstage we can get. So we're over here walking, and then like we get right to the main stage, like where Pantera, Slipknot, Judas Priest, Yngwie Malmsteen, Arch Enemy goes. And we got right up to the ramp, but they're like, "Oh no, you can't pass the ramp." We're like, "Oh, we got so close to getting onto the stage."
VIP though.
But we were back there. We were like next to all the trailers and stuff, and
the bathrooms.
We met like Demolition Hammer.
Yeah, we got to party with them.
A couple other bands that we met there.
Cool.
Revocation.
Oh fuck yes.
Cool, man. It was awesome.
Damn.
Yeah, even though we're in a band, we're still like fans of music, and so like we're still like, oh man, like, you know, us being in a brutal band just kind of goes out the window, like, oh awesome, you know what I mean? So it's really cool.
It is cool, man. We're such big fans of all this, and so you guys to be able to share the stage and open up for all these fucking bigger bands, you know, that you've been growing up listening to and still follow today, that are still fucking, you know, on top of the game. Oh man, what an experience. That's so fucking badass. You know, when I saw the scrolling through your socials and I came across that, I was like, oh yeah, definitely want to hear about this, dude, because that's a hell of an experience, bro. Well, I'm so happy you guys got that. Hopefully the opportunity comes up again.
Yeah, it'd be really nice. Yeah,
definitely.
What I wanted to also say is, starting off with you, Chris, was there a person or you know, moment that got you inspired to start getting on the vocals?
Yeah, so I have a funny story on how I became a vocalist dating back to when I was in high school. So I was originally a guitarist, you know, as a musician, starting off wanting to be in bands. And I was in a little like high school band, nothing crazy. And one of my close friends was a singer of that band, but, you know, he didn't necessarily know how to sing. And every time we'd be at practice, I try and be like, hey, you like, can you try and like, you know, sing better? And you could tell he was getting annoyed by that. And, you know, one day when I said, hey, man, can you just sound? And he got mad. He's like, man, if you think it's fucking easy, you fucking do it then. He got mad at me. And I was like, all right, I guess I'll try. And I remember I just tried on the spot. Like everyone was kind of like, hey, that sounds kind of good, man. And so I was like, hey, maybe I can do this. And it was at that moment that I automatically I became very comfortable with trying out vocals. And throughout the years of, you know, me being like, you know, 17 to now, my vocals have changed completely. You know, I started off like high school cool, you know what I mean, vocally. And then as I would join other bands throughout my years, I started off strong. And I can honestly say I'm at my strongest right now, which is very, you know, for me, it's an achievement because even when I tried out with these dudes, like, I was like, man, I don't think I can do this, man. Like, because I had been so rusty. It had been like, I don't know how many years before I jammed prior to that, right? And I almost felt bad. I was like, dude, you guys are like way too talented for me to be wasting y'all's time. But Fred and Dan like, nah, man, not like, you know, everyone's just like, just keep doing it. I'm like, all right. And then
Next practice,
I was like, you know what I mean? I just turned into Godzilla at some point. So I was pretty happy that I got over that like bump, and now I feel very comfortable. So,
what band were you in before you went on your hiatus?
I was in a band called Walk the Graves. I'd say it started around 2005, and we split like by 2010, I'd say. And it was nothing bad. It was just time for me to just stop, you know. That band was very heavily influenced by like bands like Hatebreed and Full Blown Chaos and stuff like that.
Oh shit!
And I, like Hatebreed. Yeah, my vocals were strong at that point, but they were nowhere near death metal sounding. It was just very like, you know, tough guy strong. You know what I mean? So, so that was the band that I was in before I took this long hiatus. And it wasn't even a bad thing. I was just focused on other stuff. I also compete in video games. I became a competitive gamer after 2010 to even now. And but I got the itch whenever Fred brought it up. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? It's been a while. Let's try it out. So.
Wow. So you're making money playing games?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. It was more of a hobby, but yes, I can get paid for doing so. You know what I mean? So.
Wow.
But yeah, it was just something that I was focusing on a lot. And at that point, when I was playing in that one band, it already kind of started dying down a bit, not by a lot, but I was just kind of like, hey, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on this, and yeah, it was cool.
Dude, I'm glad you hit him up, man. Hell yeah, the time was right. Time was right. It's time for Godzilla to come back.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, Fred, let me ask you now. What got, you know, was there a person or you know, what got you inspired to get on the axe and start shredding?
I think it's very similar to a lot of people, like the big thrash bands, Metallica, Slayer, Sepultura, Pantera. Pantera, Dimebag fan. Back in the pre-internet days, you know, you had to get VHS tapes to see what these bands looked like playing, and seeing them before and how they did it. Like, I really wanted to do that. What's that?
What were your favorite VHS tapes that you probably burned out watching?
Easily the Pantera Vulgar videos.
Oh yeah.
And made me want to like go on the road and party out like that, and
all their antics and shit, right?
Oh yeah, man, it was very inspiring. And what actually happened was, like, no one in my family is musical, so I never thought that was going to be something I would be attached to in any way. I visited a family member. They had an old guitar in a closet. I picked it up, and I just started noodling with it. I didn't realize it till later that my cousin told me, dude, you haven't stopped playing with that guitar since you've been here. Just take it. And I took it, and I never stopped. And I've continued ever since.
Damn, that's cool. Hell yeah. And so that guitar, do you still have it?
Actually, I don't. It was just sitting in my garage, and someone wanted it, and I sold it to them. And so
so I saw you were on like, I think a green axe that you were shredding on when I saw you at the Artisan. How many other guitars do you have? You got a dime?
I have a couple of Dimebag guitars, a Dean from Hell. I got a Dime Slime. That's actually a Legion guitar. They're a smaller company. that I got into, and like that company kind of in a way helped us get hooked up with Redefining Darkness. So I kind of owe that company because of them. They got, you know, the owner of that company of Legion Guitars introduced us to Thomas from Redefining Darkness. He liked what we were doing when we were still like at the early stages of recording Pulled from the Pit. I sent him a rough demo, and he really liked it. He said, "Hey, I want to put this out. I'll work with you guys." And we've been with him ever since. And shout out to Thomas, Redefining Darkness. So he's super awesome. We owe a lot to him and to Legion Guitars for that as well. Oh,
yeah. I like that story. Hell yeah. It's funny how the paths start crossing, and when you got good stuff, it makes things go for you, man. People respect the hustle, the production, the new material, the freshness. Fuck yeah. And so it starts spinning the wheels. That's great, dude. I like that, Fred. So let me move to Ephraim. Ephraim, so a lot of guitar playing. I've already learned a little bit, but now you're playing bass. What instrument did you get started on first? And and who got you inspired to get on anything?
Well, it all started in middle school, man. Me and my buddy, I was a skateboarder, and all my buddies skateboarders, and so we wanted to start a band. And I was gonna play the guitar, and we were fighting. Nah, I'm gonna play the. All right, man, I'll play the fucking bass. So I got the bass and started just fucking playing with the picks, and we went off from there. And so as time went by, so I started getting more into metal, right? And because of my cousin, you know, and I was looking at the Cowboy Corpse like albums, and I was like, fuck, dude, these guys are fucking sick. You know, I want to play metal now. And so I played metal like since like early high school, and we're in a fucking around like in a punk band, you know, like kind of like street punk, and then we started playing more metal. So eventually, I found Fred at Walmart. That's a funny story. I was wearing Diamond Fetus, he was wearing Diamond Fetus shirt, and so that's how we met each other. And then I started playing bass with the band called Oscuridad at the time. I joined the band. He lent me Live Cannibalism, the album. I mean the DVD.
Oh yeah.
And Alex Webster did, and I was like, "Fuck, I gotta play like that, bro. I have to play like that." And so eventually, man, I fucking threw away the pick and started playing with fingers, and ever since then it's history, dude. So we've been with our fourth band with Fred. So I've known this guy for like since I was a kid, dude. So. He's my musical soulmate.
No shit, that's badass, bro. How many decades is it? 2 decades already under your belt together, maybe?
Yeah, these two. This is what 2003. Yeah, 2004. Too.
Wow, dude.
Half my life I've known this.
Yeah, dude. I was 16,
right? Fuck yeah. You know you got a good thing going when you jam with somebody over 20 years, bro. Fuck yeah. You know, you guys got a lot in common, but musically, your head's kind of in the same place a lot of the times. The chemistry's there; it's always been there. Just good friends off, you know, outside of the gear and outside of the music. And I know how that feels because there's one guy I got to share the stage with for 20 years, and that was a guy named Fidel Tagle, my drummer for Sintegrity. From 1990 to 2000, and then he played with me in my band Kill 'Em More from 2001 till 2013. So that brotherhood, dude, of knowing, you know, me as a singer and me as a drummer, because I started out on drums first. I started on drums, but then there were better drummers than me to play metal, and I was like, well, I got to find another gig for me. And I didn't pick up guitar, but the band I wanted to be with needed a singer, so I auditioned with fucking Infected from. A Cause of Death from Obituary, and I got the job. And ever since then, I've been singing. But I always have that thing for working with the drummer because I got that drummer's mind. So working with Fidel for 20 years, I couldn't ask for a bigger blessing and a better a better music soulmate to be sharing things with. So I know exactly what you guys are experiencing, and it's a great thing that you guys keep it going. Me and Fidel don't jam anymore, but once a year in a Christmas show that I put together. And I just love Christmas, bro. So yeah, I got like a 20-piece Christmas band where I raise money for the food bank over here. So it's fucking fantastic. But that's at least I get to jam with them one time out of the year. So I look forward to that. But
Oh, yeah.
I love that story, friend. I love you guys have had that history together, and something tells me that Dan has been a part of some of that history too. So tell me a little bit about Dan. What got you on the kit, and was there a particular person that inspires you to fucking get to where you're at now?
So I mean, the person that got me into drumming and that really got me to playing drums was my uncle's friend named Gilbert. He started teaching me AC/DC music back in like 91, 92.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I had just moved back from Seguin, Texas, and they had a drum. Like as soon as I like moved in with like the U-Haul and everything, they were in the garage already with like a drum set and their whole ordeal, man. So I got to like learn from them, But as music wise, yeah, it was AC/DC, Iron Maiden, and Dio in the beginning, around that time, and then skipping to like '97. That's when I got my first drum set. My dad, was able to get me like my own kit finally, and got me some cymbals and all that good stuff. And
Yeah.
I continued with like punk music, I was into skateboarding, I was into that style, and then I got a hold of death metal, the Dying Fetus and the Cannibal Corpses as like usual. And first it was Dying Fetus actually. It was
okay. First Dying Fetus, holy shit! All right.
Yeah, Killing on Adrenaline was the first album that I got into, man. And Kevin Talley really inspired me to blast and good stuff and good drum rolls and a good mix, because I was already into the thrash stuff. Slayer is like one of my all-time thrash bands, right? Dave Lombardo, man, hands down, all the way, all day. But as in death metal, yeah, I just jumped to it super fast. Now jumping forward, I didn't really meet Fred and Efren and John and Chris until like later on. I was into a whole other scene here in the Valley. I used to go to a Trenton Point where they used to do like a lot of shows and a lot of old school grind bands like Catastrophe, Nutscab, Deadhead Battlefield, stuff like that I grew up on. And then like the death metals, you had Scarabus and you had Slow Grind and a few other bands, back in the day that people would check out. So that's the scene that I was in. And it's not till high school that I met like my friend Jason and my friend Izzy and everybody, that I was able to kind of get into a different kind of scene of like music and doing shows and whatnot. I didn't meet these guys until like later on, like later 2000s, But I got to meet John Efren and John when they were in Undying Prophecy. That's when I got to meet them, and also Chris. I'm pretty sure he's gonna tell a story.
There's a funny story. I'm just dying to tell. I'll say it after Danny.
Yeah, but
okay, all right.
But I mean, that's kind of like more or less how everything started. I've been doing this stuff. I've been doing drums since like 91, 92, man. I've been, into music since I was a kiddo. I was onto the Headbangers, ball bull crap, on MTV and watching all that stuff when I was a youngin' with my aunts and my uncles, man, just like a lot of us, out here. And but that's pretty much it. But and then now I'm jamming, heavily with a Kryptik Mutation, and I've been, going hard since 2019. And man, I'm loving every minute of it. I just love these dudes, man, to like the end. And I enjoy being on the road. We know how to joke. We know how to, bump heads, but like love each other and keep moving forward. And yeah, man, just love what I do with them, man. Hell yeah. But Chris wants to explain a quick story of how me and Chris met.
Yeah, and not only just me, but Fred also.
Yeah.
So real quick story. I'll try and make it as fast as possible. Remember how I was explaining my evolution of like when I started off singing to, like started off okay and then got a little tougher and then now I'm like this. Well, before I got tough, I was still kind of like, like a novice to vocals, right? But what happened was we had a local Hastings here in McAllen. And I lived there, dude. So I saw like I saw that they had the, like the local, whatever it is, like bulletin there. It is. And I would always read because I wanted to see who was jamming. And I was like, oh, here's a cool looking band. It's a Warsaw, I think y'all were called.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm going to call them. So I called them and they're like, yeah, you can come try out. And mind you, I was like 19 or 18, I don't remember. And I showed up to Danny's house. That was the first time I ever met him. And I just see a bunch of like metal ass dudes. And my hair was short. I had no facial hair, and I was just there with like a white t-shirt and shorts. Oh, what's up, guys? and everyone was like, kind of, you know what I mean? I just could tell that I'm not gonna fit in here, right? So I tried out, and they were nice. They're like, oh, it sounds pretty good, man. We'll try it again next time. So I went the second time, and then Fred was there. That was the first time I ever met this dude. And he looked like me too. We were both like short haired and whatnot. And
no tattoos.
No tattoos, just real like, hey, so yeah, you guys like you know, comic books, you know, shit like that. And so I think I only made like 2 tryouts, and then I forgot who called, like, hey, can we have that tape back? We're gonna try out some other people. I'm like, okay. So I knew I didn't get the part. And eventually, when me and Fred got together later on in life, he mentioned, he's like, oh yeah, I didn't get that part too. So we both didn't make the cut for Danny's band at the time. So like I said, the evolution of my vocals, you come up to this point when I was asking Fred, do we know a drummer that might want to play for this potential project that we have going on? And then he goes, well, we got Danny. I was like, which Danny? Blaster version? He's like, yeah. I was like, shit, that's kind of funny that, you know, came full circle. I told Fred, I was like, we should have him try out and then be like, hey, you didn't make it, bro. But it was just really funny that, you know, from me being 18 to, you know, this was back in 2019, whatever, so, you know, just a few years ago. It was really funny how I met these guys before I was even fully friends with them, because it was just trying out like at a random band, you know. And so, yeah, that was really funny that we all met each other back then, and Danny was like, those guys suck.
Exactly. Danny's already at another level already.
Exactly. Like, Danny was up here. I was still like trying to find my footing in anything. So,
right. Oh, dude, that is a great story. Hell yeah. Way to go, Dan. Yeah, he's got tight standards. He really has fucking high standards, man. He's a real master of his craft. He knows what he's talking about. And I could just tell by the lingo and how we work together in Annihilator, dude, that it's so second nature what he does. The speed and everything. It's just like he could do it in his sleep. It's like riding a bike, dude. It's just it's so consistent, hard hitting, and just, man, brutal. Yeah.
I knew at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm not cut out for this band, because I had never been around. I'd never been to a tryout or practice where I saw somebody do a solo. And Jason, I think we tried the song out 2 or 3 times, and I remember each time that solo was coming out, I was like, dude, that's crazy. I've never seen this like in person. So like, I'm not gonna do this band. So yeah.
A little intimidating back in the day, dude. But you know, the badass part about it is all of y'all love jamming, so you just kept working. You just kept jamming, you know, mixing up with different guys, and shit, you know, here we are, you know, 2025, working on the second album, you know, for Kryptik, man. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing how it's all come together. Let's get into the album, man. Well, you know, before we get to the album, you know what? Hold on a second, John. You've been kind of quiet on this. Let's take care of this, man. Hell yeah! Tell me, man. Tell me what got you fired up to get on the axe, and who's who do you look up to when it comes to shredding?
Yeah, so my origin story kind of started with my dad, because my dad's been playing guitar like since I was a kid. He'd always play in the church choir band, so you know I'd always kind of be around hearing it, different style of music, right? But he always was playing music, so I was always around it from a kid. And then he started showing me Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, those kind of guys, which are instrumental guitarists that no lyrics, just pure solos and melodic riffs and just a whole bunch of awesome stuff. So I started hearing that. And it's kind of similar to Fred's story. My uncle actually left his guitar at my grandparents' house, and I would stay there all the time. So one day I just, like open it up. Well, what's this? It's a white guitar. I still remember. And I would just, no amp or anything, but I would just, just be hitting random notes and all that. And it was funny because on the back of there was a sticker, and the sticker said, "Let's get naked." So
he played naked.
I was a kid. And I would just be like, "Hey, Dad, check it out." And they show up the sticker, and he's like, "Yeah." So it was funny, man. So yeah, it started off with that, and then eventually.
So that's why he practices naked. I didn't know.
Now we know.
Now we know. Now we know.
So I started off with that, and then me and my brother started getting into heavier music, Arch Enemy, Shadows Fall, In Flames, and then eventually I speaking of Hastings, well, actually, yeah, I met Joe Dan from, Joe Dan at Melhart's. I was a kid getting lessons. I was probably 13, 14 years old. And he was like, "Hey, dude, I know you're into metal. These friends of mine have a band. They're looking for another guitar player. Like, I'm like, yeah, dude. Like, fucking, let me hit him up." And it turned out to be Fred and Efren with our first band, which at that time wasn't called Undying Prophecy, but so I joined up with them, and I was all into Dying Fetus, The Environment, all the crazy brutal shit. And like,
you lied about your age or something.
Yeah,
right?
so I was 14. But I told the guys I was 15 because like that 1 year would make a difference, right?
I know, right? Why?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess because 14 sounds bad, but 15, like, okay, 15.
After 30.
Okay.
Started jamming with these guys at 15. I think we started playing shows probably within a year or something. And then speaking of like, knowing people, me and Danny, we actually lived. We're like our neighborhoods were right next to each other. So
oh shit! All right.
We found out that me and Danny would just always start hanging out. We started jamming, and eventually when Blast Version needed another guitar player, I joined Blast Version. I made the cut. These guys didn't.
Yeah.
I made the cut.
I
For the band.
Yeah, you made it. The rest is history.
Yeah, so I joined Blast Version in 2011, and we're still technically in Blast Version. We haven't made anything new, but maybe there might be something coming down the line. We'll see what happens. But yeah, man, that's kind of where it all started for me. Kind of trickling down to where I am now. And speaking of Danny about loving the guys, this past tour was awesome. It was fun. We had our ups and downs. We had good moments and a lot of driving. I'm sure you know, but wouldn't change the world, man. It's been awesome so far, and we're excited. We got a show tomorrow. We got the other show coming up, so we still got some things planned for sure.
Where y'all playing tomorrow night?
Cena Ray here in McAllen. Cena Ray with
oh shit! Let me guess. It's a fucking MOD show, right?
Yeah.
Oh shit! Shout out to Big Al from Confused and all the fucking heavy hitters you got on their Pantheon. Fuck yeah, MOD is gonna be in town. That's gonna be a badass show tomorrow.
We're excited for it, man. We're excited for it. Yep.
Man, dude, that's good. There's gonna be a nice circle pit for you guys. I know it. Fuck yeah, because that's that kind of show.
Oh yeah.
Well, then again, think about this. Maybe there might be too many guys that are ready to come, because a lot of my guys are the ones that grew up listening to MOD. You know what I mean? I'm 55, and so not many of us come out of retirement to get back in the circle pit. So we're gonna be relying on a lot of the young guys to get out there and fuck it up.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm hoping to be a good mix of young, older.
Yeah.
Just everybody go out there, have a good time, fucking drink some beers and enjoy the music. You know what I mean? So.
Yes, man. I know we're gonna have them here on Saturday. So they're gonna be here on Saturday. It's gonna be, I think, Brutal Poverty, Tortured, Confused, of course, and MOD. Man, that's gonna be a great show down there. You guys got a bigger show that's stacked up down there, dude. That's the place to be. Yeah, so I love my Corpus Christi friends, but by God, they got a big banging show down there in the valley. If you want to go out there tomorrow night, take their little ride, hang out, come back and catch them again here in Corpus at Boozers. Check it out. You cannot go wrong, man. Kryptik Mutation opening the show for these guys is going to be incredible. So I'm excited about that, dude. No wonder you guys are hyped up. It's going to be badass. Hell yeah.
Yeah, we're excited, man. We're excited.
So also, let me get to talking about going back around. I just want to ask you a quick question. We'll start with Chris. Tell me, what was your first concert, bro? What was the first one that you got out there, whether your dad took you or maybe it was with some bros?
Oh man, it was Megadeth back in '98 in McAllen. I told this story whenever we did the King in Yellow interview, but I'll tell it again. Basically, I just graduated from 8th grade year. It was gonna be my first show. It was in McAllen when Megadeth came down, and it just didn't go so well in terms of them interacting with the fans, because the fans were interacting with shit thrown at them. You know what I mean? Like,
remember you saying that? Yes.
So I was just a kid. So to me, I was like, man, is it going to be like this? Like, people just keep throwing stuff. And for a while it was, because at 2 or 3 concerts that I go to afterwards, people, for whatever reason, were throwing shit. I was like, I guess that's the norm. Fuck, I don't know. But either way, that was my first show. Obviously, it's become very like infamous. Dave Mustaine hates McAllen. I actually made a reel on my Instagram that fucking blew up. It went viral as hell. Me explaining what happened, and I had my ticket as proof. Like I was at this show that he says McAllen sucks, and you know, I didn't expect to see that many people commenting on it, but yeah, there was people talking about that same night, whether they were there or just people that had their opinion on the Valley and or Dave Mustaine himself. So it was pretty nuts. But yeah, my first concert was definitely historical, I guess you could say. So that was my first.
Definitely, hell yeah. You remember what album was that for Megadeth?
Kryptik Writings, I believe it was, right? Like
Kryptik Writings, that's right. Oh hell yeah.
That they did. And from what I understand, people were not happy with the bands that opened for them. It was a band called Soak. I remember that was the first one. And then Monster Magnet. It was just those two. And supposedly that's how I would hear from people like, oh, it's because, you know, they brought these bands and no one liked them. So they were already like booing them. And then when they came out, they were getting booed. It was mayhem. Like, so yeah, it was fun.
What a tour for Megadeth. God, that wasn't that definitely was probably at their low point right there.
Yeah, I definitely.
You know, definitely. Okay. Well, Fred, tell me, what was your first concert?
I believe it was Sammy Hagar.
Get the fuck out of here, the Red Rocker. Hell yeah.
It was actually really cool, but I went because a friend of mine, someone gave him tickets or something. Yeah. And I don't know how he came across them, but he was like, I don't like this rock metal stuff. Do you want to go? But you want to go with me? I know you like this stuff more than me. And I was like, yeah, sure. Like free concert. So we go out to the island. It was at South Padre Island at the convention center.
Yeah.
I swear we were the youngest people there. But it was awesome. Like everyone was having a great time. He had a great stage production. He sounded amazing. His band was amazing. I was blown away. It was loud as hell. My ears were ringing. I was not prepared for that. So now I wear ear protection all the time. It's a little PSA for everybody. But yeah, that was my first show. I've been ever since.
Dude, I love fucking Sammy Hagar. I absolutely love him. I look up to him as one of those great vocalists that just has had a great fucking career, and it just fucking stood the test of time. And just as a good all-around kind of guy. I'd love to meet him. But I also love the PSA, man, because what we do, you know, goddamn, we love it loud. We fucking love it loud. And I'm very, man, I'm hard-headed, bro. Here I am, 55, and I could probably count the times I've worn, you know, earplugs on both hands because I got a pair of I think they're called earaches or something like that. But man, I need that little feeling, dude, of the trouble and everything else that I'm stubborn, and I'm gonna be the one to regret it. I will be the one to fucking regret it. But Fred, thank you for putting that out there because it needs to be, you know, sometimes we just need to keep hearing it from our bros that take care of your hearing, bro, because this is the most important thing you love is fucking music and metal. And to lose that gift that God gave us to be able to enjoy this with each other is, oh man, it would fucking crush me. So thank you for putting that out there, Fred. Hell yeah. Use your earplugs, guys. Crank it up, but use your earplugs. So Ephraim, tell me about your first concert.
Shit, I think it was if I'm not mistaken, I think it was a Heretic tour with a Morbid Angel, Suffocation, and Satyricon, I think.
What, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was a good show.
I forgot
That's a badass lineup. What Morbid Angel album was that on?
That was
I think
there was at the Heretic.
Heretic, yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's a sick lineup right there. Hell yeah. And so some of you guys were there too?
What was that?
I'm sure I was there. I went to just about. I went to
there.
Like every single La Viadial show that was possible. That after the Megadeth when I was there, like La Viadial, every single chance I got.
Yeah.
Respect to yeah, that's a fucking badass. Who did I see there? Well, matter of fact, I got arrested on the way to go see Devastation, Obituary, and Sepultura on the fucking. Yeah, dude. We were about not even a mile away from the venue, dude. We stopped to get more beer and to get some gas. And I was with Brutal Rich from Brutal Poverty here in town. and we threw out an empty 12-pack, and there was an undercover cop parked there in the fucking station, and we pulled out. He pulled right behind us and let us go a couple of lights before he hit his lights, pulled us over for, we were minors still. And yeah, so we all went to jail. We didn't get to see the show, man. It sucked. It sucked, man. Oh, ball buster, man. But yeah, I love the Villarreal down there. They always bring some of the best fucking concerts. It's always been legendary shows there. I want to say Metallica's played there, right?
Oh yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Pantera also.
Pantera too. Oh shit, damn. Well, that was a killer one. Dan, tell me, what was your first concert?
Who?
First one, yeah, would have to be the Pantera, Morbid Angel, and Soulfly for me. That was pretty big.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's
Reinventing the Steel tour.
Yeah, there you go, man. That was like 2000, 2001, right?
Nothing Face was on that show.
Nothing Face, and so yeah, man, that was like one of like the earliest that I was like allowed to go to and like enjoy myself out there. After that, I mean everything else is just like little local shows, stuff like that. But yeah, man, that's my first one right there.
Oh, that's a classic one right there. Love that tour. Hell yeah. John, how about yours? What was your first gig? Your big concert?
Yeah, mine was actually my father took us when we were kids to go see Joe Satriani. That was technically my first concert. That's when I was just like you hear it on an album, but when you see these guys play in front of you and it's almost like they're fucking wizards, man. Like it's crazy.
Yes, dude, the Satch man, yeah.
You're like, holy shit, man, this guy's making this shit look so easy and jamming. So that was my first concert. But also going back to Efren, my first death metal concert was the Suffocation Morbid Angel at La Villarreal, and that concert was the one that was like, I wanted to be up there doing that shit. You know what I mean? Like, I want to.
That was like a life changer right there. Like, yes, I want to fucking destroy like that.
And I still remember Steve Tucker was wearing the Exorcist chick's shirt. Her face right there while he was jamming. So yeah, I'll never forget that concert, man. Like for his shirt.
Fuck yes. Good shows, man. Bringing back some great memories right there.
Oh yeah.
What I want to hit up, I'm going to finish off with a segment called Draw the Line. But before I do, I want to hit up some of these fucking badass tracks that we got to pull from the pit. So let me start off from the top, and they may not be in the chronological order of the album, but maybe some will fall into that. But of course, Placenipede, dude. So Placenipede, fucking sick one. What movie was this one inspired by?
Well, I mean, anything that has like an alien type of host within its, within a character type, you know what I mean? Obviously aliens, you know what I mean?
Yes, that kind of shit, yes.
Yeah, but just obviously like anything that creates a host inside of a human body, and then out it comes. That's pretty much what it's about. So yeah,
you seen the Invasion of the Body Snatchers?
Yeah. So it just everything like that. It's exactly what you're saying. It could be anything that's just a host body. You know what I mean? So yeah, with a creature coming out in any
shit. Yeah. Love it. Okay, let's move to the next one. Empires of Galactic Misery. Heavy fucking brutal track right here. Kick-ass solo right there at the end to finish off the track. But what's the sample at the beginning of it?
Okay. So this goes back to us being video game, nerds. It's from the X-Men arcade game. There's a part where, I think it's like stage 3 when you come to the end of it. Magneto comes out and he starts laughing and he says, X-Men, welcome to die. And then so we basically took that sample and slowed it down, and we kind of took out just the part where it says X-Men, and then you have like welcome to die, and then it just starts off. So yeah, it's pretty neat.
Great idea. Fuck yes, that was cool. Very cool. How about Brain Splatter? Definitely one of the highlights for me, man. One of my favorite tracks on the album. Brutal fucking chorus with a great thrash riff, and then right after that, you start moving on to the verse, and you're back to that brutal fucking chorus again, and then it's like a sick break, and at the it's around the midpoint of the song, and then you got a kick ass like a solo section, dude, where and then fucking Dan kicks it in with the fucking sick double bass, and before you know it, boom, It ends
Yeah.
with a fucking So Brain Splatter, that's one of my favorites right there. Was that based off of maybe a movie or a game?
More so, I was inspired by the band Ghoul. You know,
Ghoul.
They
Yeah, those dudes.
Their genre, they like to call themselves a splatter thrash.
Yeah.
So for me, think of it as like, okay, so I'm gonna try and draw inspiration from Ghoul to write this song vocally or lyrically, and it's basically just going on a killing spree is all it is, you know what I mean, and in a thrashy sound to what the guys produce for me to sing along to. And you know, the main thing I thought of was like, okay, I'm just inspired by Ghoul, like the fucking band. I like Ghoul a lot, and let me try and translate that as myself into this song with the guys playing that style of music. So
cool.
Just a killing spree song. That's why when you hear it, it's just like, all right, people are dying in here, plain and simple. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
yeah.
Impressive, fucking brutalizing chorus right there, dude. Heavy as fuck, man. I've been mentioning a lot about drums, but I don't ever want to put the guitar work to a second seat, man, because both you guys, Fred and John, and Efren on bass, man, dude, the shredding is it's great riffs, man. Great writing. Great. It's not too technical. That's why I like it. It's got that thrash feel. You got that old school death metal going on. A lot of great moments where you feel like some Cannibal Corpse drum beats with guitar riffs that are going on. Nothing's overkilled by any means. Everything's done with the purpose, and it's got its spot, and it's not predictable by any means. So that's why I just like, I definitely want to give a shout out to all you guys in the strings for being fucking tight, precise, and doing it like you guys are big pros, man. That's why you fit in well. And that guy liked what he heard when he went to see it for the Hell in Heaven Fest, man. So real recognizes real. So when he saw you, he's like, shit, yeah, let me get these guys on, man. I know the crowd will love them. So I'm glad that he checked that out. Let's move on to the next one, Demon Crest. Next one I want to talk about. What about the opening sample from that? Did that come from a movie?
Yeah, it's from an old 70s film called The Seven Golden Vampires. It's that track. I mean, that sample is just like a segment of one of the head vampires talking about what he needs, to basically just do bad stuff. So I thought it was a very cool sample that it's kind of hard to pinpoint where is that, you know what I mean? So I like that. I like obscurity when it comes to stuff, and so that's essentially where we pulled it from. It's just an old school vampire film. So.
Great. And that one you said was based off a game, Demon Crest.
Yeah, Demon's Crest.
Hell yeah. That's a heavy fucking song, dude. And I love that beginning riff executing, man. It's a badass one. Very memorable.
Yeah, and so like I said, it being based off a video game, I kind of used a melody from that game just as that opener, and then I composed something completely different after it. So
yeah,
that's why I didn't want any bullshit. I was like, look, this game is based off of Demon's Crest. It's gonna be called Demon's Crest, plain and simple. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Great work on that, bro. And next one, Blistering Blow. Fuck, dude, that's a bad jam right there. I like the way that you put that out as a single, because it definitely is a standout track, dude. I know I love Brain Splatter, but I love Blistering Blow just as fucking much. So fucking heavy. And Dan Blast is fucking just destroying everything on this fucking song, man. The drumming on this one is super intense, but it's super intense because the guitar work and everything else everything is so syncing tight and moves and flows so fucking well.
And Dan actually he named that song, so the Blistering Blow came out of him. And so like I said, when others have ideas, when he gave me that name, I'm like, okay, cool. I picture kind of essentially kind of like a fight for your life type of thing, not in a positive way, more so 2 men enter, 1 man leave type of scenario where just people going at it and someone's gonna die and you better be the one on top. So Blistering Blow is what I got off of that. I was like, okay, it kind of sounds like a bunch of dudes just fucking killing the shit out of each other.
Yeah. I love it. That's a bad one, dude. So moving on, Tied Under a Buzzsaw. Fuck yeah. That's one of those traditional badass titles I would see in like Butcher to Birth. You know what I mean? On the old school Cannibal, man, tied to a buzzsaw. Fuck yeah, dude. Or under a buzzsaw, I'm sorry. Kick-ass fucking track from beginning to end. Definitely made for mosh pitting and fucking and circle pitting, dude. There's a lot of fucking great feeling going on right there that really gets the crowd fired up.
Yeah, that definitely gets the crowd going when we have like the right formula of how we're playing energy wise and then how I'm speaking. So yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. One of my favorite tracks too. But definitely not last but not least, Dying to Rot. The track I thought you might have been writing, but I was totally off of it. Demon Crest was the one you brought to the table right there, Chris. But Dying to Rot, man. Well, definitely last but not least. I'm still got Sacrifice to Pulverize, but back to Dying to Rot. Relentless fucking guitar attacks on this one, man. Just great fucking standout guitar right here. And brutalizing track. Just fucking heavy as fuck.
Yeah.
Moving on, Sacrifice to Pulverize, dude. I really like that one a lot, dude. Fucking killer track. Great one to finish the album off with. But that opening riff, dude, it fucking shreds, dude. That's a killer right there. It kind of reminds me of Metallica's Disposable Heroes main riff. You know, it's at that, you know, a lot of great fucking picking action going on right there. And brutalizing drums, especially in the second section, to fucking fire up the pit, dude. So that's another great one, dude. I mean, all the jams, you know, I know you guys will only put out grade A stuff that is made for fucking headbanging and crushing for all the guys that we grew up with and all the guys, you know, that are coming to the show. So I can't wait to get my hands on the next album that's coming out. Have you already got a title for it yet?
Yeah, we do actually. It's going to be based off of a title track, Possessed by the Disease. So we have a track, and then we're going to go ahead and name the album that. So
Possessed by the Disease, fuck yeah. And the artwork's he's already got the idea for it.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool. Oh yeah. Gentlemen, before I let you go, I want to pick your brain real quick on a segment I call Draw the Line, where I'm going to give you guys a couple of bands, and you tell me if, say, both of them were playing in your town tonight, who would you go check out? You can only be in one place at one time. So let's start off with you, John. Tell me, who would you go see between Obituary versus Broken Hope?
Obituary. And,
all right, yes, I love me some Obituary. I love the bass drums that both of these bands bring, man. That's one of my favorite things about both of these bands. Yeah. So man. Obituary, all right, killer. Dan, you still back there? I see you. There you go.
Yeah,
right.
I'm over here with Huey the dog, man. I'm over here giving Huey some pets. But yeah, if it was up to him, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I like both bands. Broken Hope is good, man. I mean, that's some good, you know, death metal too. Shit. I've seen Obituary. I probably want to go with Broken Hope, man. I've never seen them, so I would want to check them out live or something. Yeah, Broken Hope for me.
That'd be bad. Some Chicago style death metal right there. Yes. Swamped in Gore. Yeah. Love that shit. Oh, I love that. It's a hit. Ephraim, what do you think between them two?
I'll go Obituary, man. I like Broken Hope a lot, and but I'll go with Obituary for sure.
What's your go-to Obituary album?
Cause of Death.
Cause of Death. Fucking classic right there. Yes. Love it. Yeah. Let's move on. Tell me, Fred, who do you favor out of these two?
Probably go with Obituary. I'm more familiar with their music, so I would want to see that live and hear it in person. So that's probably what I would go check out.
You know, on the last tour, I think they were teamed up with, like, I want to say Hatebreed and maybe Carcass. They were like a part of some sort of maybe the Hatebreed 25th anniversary tour. I don't think they made it to the van. I think the closest they came around here was like maybe San Antonio to Vibes or something. But man, last time I saw Obituary was on the Incomplete, and I didn't get to see him on the fucking Cause of Death. That's when I got arrested down there. So I missed out on that one. But the Incomplete was sick.
Cause of arrest.
Love the drumming. That's one of the best things I love about Obituary, dude. And the riffage that Trevor would bring, Trevor Pettis, man, some great shit right there. So, all right. Okay. Obituary it is. Fred, now, Chris, what do you think about Obituary versus Broken Hope?
I'm going Obituary because I've seen Obituary a couple times, and I've always been a fan of the vocals on that, you know, with Obituary, and that's who I'd probably choose. Yeah, like, cause I've never even like listened to fucking what was it, Broken Hope? That was it. Yeah, so I'm Obituary. So yeah.
Obituary. Okay, fuck yeah, all day. Okay, how about this, John?
Yes.
Who's it going to be between Possessed versus Celtic Frost?
Possessed. I'm more familiar with Possessed, definitely. Even though I know the other side is more old school, but I'm just more familiar with Possessed tracks and their thrash style. So I would have to say them for me.
Love that, dude. You know the guy, Emilio. Did you get a chance to meet Emilio Marquez when y'all did that jam with Assassino?
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He's super cool.
Oh,
Yeah. You guys are
Super
beast.
cool guy, dude. Yes, man. He did that comeback album with Possessed that they did a few years ago. Fucking like, I forget the track, dude, but I have it on my player, dude. Man, he's an amazing drummer too, man. Shit, some sick shit right there. Moving on, Dan, tell me, what do you think? Possessed versus Celtic Frost?
I like Celtic Frost, man. I like that style of music. I was actually introduced to that band before Possessed. And talking about Possessed and Emilio, man, when they did that show, he busted his snare head, ran to the back real quick, grabbed my snare, didn't even ask me, just grabbed it. I'm like, yeah, sure, go for it, bud. You know? And he went back and he just put it on and started wailing like on my snare, and they were able to. But yeah, man, I would go with Celtic Frost for me as like a band that I like to hear and jam to. I still actually, you know, talking about them, I was actually jamming them a few days ago. So yeah, man, that's what I'm into, bud.
Hell yes. Love me some Possessed. I'm sorry, but you know that Celtic Frost, man, when you take it back to like Morbid Tales, man, to Megatherion, they got some hits. You know, even Obituary had to cover Circle of Tyrants.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That was a good cover right there.
Ephraim, what do you think out of these two?
Possessed.
Possessed.
Yeah.
Is there?
Celtic
Let's
Frost.
see, out of Possessed. You know, the first track I heard from them was definitely The Exorcist. Man,
Yeah.
and that one really left a mark on us. And that's the one that we used as our intro, right, Dan?
Yeah, that's the one that we did for our recent show, man. Was that song? Yeah. So
That was a cool little touch. I like that. That was JD's idea. Hell yeah, that was cool. Okay, now let's get going. What do you think, Fred? Out of these two, Possessed and Celtic Frost?
I'll be 100% honest. I haven't listened to a lot of either one of them. For whatever reason, they're just bands that kind of like flew under the radar for me. So because of that, I have heard some Possessed, so I'm not like 100% ignorant on them. I think I would go with Celtic Frost just to get a different taste and check out something unique and different from what I would expect. Yeah.
Dude, I get it, man. Definitely. If I had to recommend one of their albums, I would probably go to Megatherion, because they did great things on Morbid Tales, but I think they got better at their craft by the time they did to Megatherion, and they just got some great bangers on there, dude. I know listening to that kind of stuff from a guitar player's point of view, you might pick up some things that you really fucking might want to bring to your arsenal, because he does some good shit back in the day, some great stuff. So, Chris, tell me, where do you stand between these two, Possessed and Celtic Frost?
I'm the same with Fred. Like, you know, I know the names. I know the names more than I know the music. So either one. We played with Possessed technically, right, in Mexico. I'll go with Celtic Frost just because I guess like if I had to choose, like, hey, which one? I'm gonna go with Celtic Frost because their name is longer, I guess you could say. So I'll just go with that. Yeah. I never got into either one of them. I'm sure, you know, they've been around for so long. People love them and all that stuff. But myself is just the same thing. Like, I never really got into those bands. So.
I got you. Let's move to the next one. Hopefully, this one's a little closer to our listening styles right here, as far as maybe some stuff more current. John, what do you think between Exodus versus Slayer?
Man, the guitar work on Exodus is just amazing, solos wise. I mean, just the vibe of Slayer, the energy of Slayer, man. It's hard to beat Slayer. And I've seen them before, and the pyro and the freaking, you know, all the everything going on with the show, Angel of Death, you know, Raining Blood. I had to say Slayer, man.
Slayer it is. All right. No, and I loved every reason you gave them, man. Hell yeah. Deserving of every single one of those. Dan, what do you think between them two?
I'm Slayer all day, man. I always say it. I'll always say Slayer's my top thrash metal band over. Look, man, out of Metallica, Sepultura, all these bands, and Anthrax, and I'm Slayer all day, every day. Slayer's my number one, man. Straight up, I just love it. That's what I grew up on. Like, yeah, I was hearing Metallica and stuff like that, but when I was playing Doom on the computer back early in the '90s, you know, it was just Slayer and Doom all day at my hands, you know. So yeah, dude. That's me, bud. Slayer all day. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. And I was the same way, man. Of course, Metallica, I was always like in constant play, but when it came to what I really wanted to hear, and my favorite band out of the two it ended up being Slayer. Definitely. All right. But you know, I like to compare these two bands, man, because when you really look at let's look at that first album. When you had Bonded by Blood versus and this one's more I Show No Mercy, but this is the shirt I'm wearing right here. Is from the guys in Life Cycles, and they did a fucking mock shirt with they got Beg for Mercy instead of Show No Mercy. So shout out to the guys in Life Cycles. But man, the ferocity that comes on that Bonded by Blood, wow, that's some great shit right there.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's a great band, you know, great thrash metal band. But I mean, yeah, it's like I didn't grow on that, you know. I was just really brought up on Slayer, man, straight up.
Yes, raised on Slayer. I like the sound of that. Ephraim, where you stand on these two?
Slayer, man.
Slayer. All right.
I mean,
okay, maybe this is going to be too easy. Fred, where you at on this one?
I'm going to be the odd man out here. I've already seen Slayer. I've never seen Exodus, so I would go check out Exodus. I love Gary Holt. I like a lot of the stuff that they put out, even after Bonded by Blood, so I would definitely go check out Exodus.
Giving Exodus some blood. Yes, hell yes. Fuck it. Gary Holt. The only guy I think when they announced he was going to be the replacement for Jeff Hanneman, I was like, fucking perfect. This guy needs a break. Fuck yeah. He's been grinding forever. He's, you know, Exodus is always, they've never changed. They've always kept doing what Exodus does best. And so when they decided to bring him in, I was like, oh, thank goodness. Somebody that needs to be there. Somebody needs a spotlight. So big shout out to fucking Gary Holt. So what do you think, Chris? You feel the same way?
Well, so it's an easy one for me because I'm going to go with Exodus. And the reason being is because Toxic Waltz, like that song in particular, on the new album that we did, I wrote a song called Gore Breaker, and I always have Toxic Waltz in the back of my head anytime I want to write like a party song or like a song that's kind of catchy but still heavy. And he said it makes sense, and it does make total sense because when and if you do hear that song Gore Breaker in the future album, you can kind of see like where I got my inspiration from that song into this. It's not a rip because it's not a rip off of it at all. Like I took my own, melodies and riffs, but I was thinking about that the whole time. So it's kind of funny that you asked this question because that was an easy one for me. Like Exodus, Exodus has been one of my go-to bands when it comes to trying to write thrash style riffs. So
that's catchy.
That's catchy, exactly.
Thrash.
And Slayer, of course, like everyone loves them and stuff like that, but for me it was easy for Exodus, yeah. So
very good reason behind that, Chris. I like that story. Hell yes. Yeah. Okay, let's move on. John, I got two more for you, but two more before we go around. But this is the second to the last. John, how about Cannibal Corpse versus Deicide?
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. That's a tough one. I think, you see, because I respect both bands so much, and I played with Deicide before, and that was a cool adventure in its own, man. But I think, true to my core, Cannibal, I was a lot more of a Cannibal Corpse fan. Jamming almost all their albums, Bio, all those albums, man, and that just, I guess, the brutal death metalness of it was more appealing to me than kind of like the Deicide imagery and that kind of stuff. So I kind of like the gory brutalness of Cannibal, man. So yeah, I would go with Cannibal for sure.
Oh, yes, that's what Cannibal's kind of brought that Iron Maiden part of that artwork, dude. Just like you guys are bringing the artwork. You know what I mean? It's like, when you see an album like that, it's like, yeah, I know what I'm getting right here. This is going to be the good shit. Hell yeah. Now, real quick, before I get to you, Dan, want to give a shout out. JD's in the house. What's up? JD jumping in the chat room, and I want to shout out to also Pierre Garza in the house, Rafael Rios, and Rafael. This is Kryptik fucking Mutation. I got here in the studio. Thanks for tuning in tonight, and JD, hope you've been doing good, brother. Hell yeah! Thanks for tuning in. Negative audio in the house.
Yeah, man.
So Dan, what do you think? How do you stand on these two, Deicide versus Cannibal?
I respect both bands. I've seen Deicide multiple times. I've seen Cannibal Corpse multiple times. I will have to go with Cannibal Corpse, man, and I still love seeing them live. I mean, I love what Deicide does musically and everything with the Hoffman brothers. I love what Steve does, like on the drums. I mean, Glenn Benton's cool and all. But musicianship wise, great musicianship. Great. Legion's one of my favorite albums. I just find it really, really satanic, dark, and heavy and hard. It's great stuff, really well written with it. But overall, Cannibal Corpse, not just because of Hammer Smash Face, but more just because of like the music itself and what they carry, man, and how they've kept like the same kind of style through over 20 years.
Yeah.
And the music and the heaviness, like live, able to produce that and keep going, and they're still going, bro. And now they're even like bigger than what they were before. But yeah, Cannibal Corpse, and that's for me, But I respect both bands.
Shout out to Eric Rutan from Haiti Eternal for joining them now as their second guitar player and fitting in perfectly and writing some heavy.
Eric Rutan, I tell you, that guy's a fucking beast. Producer on the axe. Oh, yeah. Unstoppable guy right there. Fuck yeah. For sure. That was great, Dan. Hell yeah. Cannibal Corpse is just one of those special bands, man. They've stood the test of time, and it's funny how there's not enough room for everybody at the top. There's only one Metallica. Slayer just never really got to that big money making kind of presence that Metallica did. Maybe it's because Metallica had better management. Who knows what it was? But in our eyes, Slayer's the shit. And with the production and stuff Metallica has a good production, but I would rather fucking see Slayer with the fire and all that shit. And I'm not talking the devil part, but just I love fire, man. I love how they brought all that shit in the presence, and Kerry King and all that is still super undeniable. But Cannibal Corpse is really they're the cream of the crop, and they have been consistent. And George, I've had a chance to meet George, and he's just fucking good people too. And can't say anything bad about Glenn Benton too, because I've jammed with it. Killer Moore's opened for them a couple of times, and he's been a great guy to fucking hang out with backstage, and just a super cool down to earth guy. But I thought that was funny back in the day when they were recording their first album. I had heard a rumor that when they were recording with Scott Burns at Maury Sound Studios, that he threatened Scott Burns that if it wasn't the heaviest album to come out of his studio, that he was going to come back and burn the place down. Did y'all ever hear anything like that?
No, I never heard nothing like that.
Well, that's what I heard back in the day, and that was, I was like some cool kind of folklore. It's like that followed Glenn Benton around, like he was just this presence that just was gonna had to have the heaviest fucking band there was. And when they came out with fucking Dead Till Dawn, man, Dead by Dawn, man, that was some sick shit. With I always related that to Evil Dead. You know what I mean? Because you got that line. God damn it! It slipped my mind. Oh shit! Hopefully I remember before the show's over, and if I do, I'll fucking shout it out. But much respect to both these bands. We're not finished. Ephraim, where do you stand on this Cannibal versus Deicide?
As a bass player, man, Alex Webster, Cannibal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the mainstay. That's right. Oh fuck yeah, Alex is the beast. Okay, Killer, Cannibal it is. Fred, how about you?
Oh, it's easy. Cannibal Corpse. Same as Efren. Like, they were one of the first bands that got me into death metal. And I got to meet Corpse Grinder once, and he was so cool. Super down to earth. Took time to hang out with us. So I'll support that dude for anything he does. And plus, their music's fucking awesome. So catchy, so memorable, so well done. Yeah, I love Cannibal Corpse for sure.
Yeah.
Hell yes. And Chris, how about you?
Easy for me too. Cannibal Corpse. Like, Cannibal Corpse was one of the first. Same thing. One of the first death metal albums I actually got to hold in my hand in 6th grade. It was Eaten Back to Life. Like I had a classmate named Myra who knew that I liked Metallica. In 5th grade, that was my first metal band, Metallica, right? So in 6th grade, when she saw me like carrying around my little like CDs and shit, my little Discman, she's like, "Oh, my brother, he likes metal too. He doesn't live with us. Like, I'll go ahead and bring you some, some of his stuff." And within there, like I said, it was Cannibal Corpse. It was like Anthrax, White Zombie, and like even like Green Jello and stuff. So that was the first time. Yeah, like those were like my big 4 albums after Metallica. You know what I mean?
Oh shit.
Yeah, like it resonates with me to just say that. Yeah, like Cannibal Corpse for me is the most memorable for sure. So I'll go with them as well. So
hell yeah, I gotta give. I know I just saw JD chime in right here. Chris's vocals are Rio Grande Valley's death excellence, bro. Big
Thank
props
you.
right there.
Hell yeah, appreciate
Love
it,
it,
man.
Chris. Hey, you got it so natural, man. You're a natural on stage, man. When I saw you just putting it out there, love it, man. One more time, we got one more pair of bands right here. So starting with you, John. Last round, Sepultura versus Pantera.
Oh man. I wish it wasn't so
I'm glad
easy.
this is the toughest one. I left it for the end.
For me, Pantera, man, all day, man. I never really got into Metallica when I was younger. It wasn't more recent that I actually started listening to Metallica. I was all Pantera when I was younger. Cowboys from Hell, Power Display of Power. So I hands down have to give Dimebag like the energy and the crazy solos and all that stuff. Have to give him props for influencing me and Fred and a whole bunch of us. So I'm definitely 100% on Pantera's side for me. Yeah.
Hell yes. What did you think about the last tour? When you got to see him, how did you feel about Charlie and Zach coming in there?
It's different. It's not. There's no way of it being the same. But they said they weren't trying to be the same. They're just wanting to bring their music back to the masses and give a little piece of what they were to people who never experienced it in the past. So I respect that. I think they did awesome. They had the tribute video before they're playing for Dimebag.
Yeah.
And the solos don't sound like Dimebag, but they're not. They sound like Zach. But Zach and Dimebag were good friends. And I know if Dimebag would want anybody to play his music, it'd be Zach. You know what I mean? So I thought I enjoyed it. I had a fucking great time. I raised my beer. It was great. I would say it was awesome for sure.
Yes, very well said, John. Very well said. I would agree with every word you said. And I love Phil's one of my. I have a Pantera tribute band that I sing for, and so Phil's one of my favorites, dude. So to have him back on the road singing the Pantera songs and him sounding good doing them, dude, was great. And Rex is a fucking machine, man. He's a badass bass. Very an underrated bassist. I don't hear too many people always keeping him like in the top 10 when it comes to bass players, but he's not. He's like that Michael Anthony, dude, like Van Halen. When you got an awesome hotshot guitar player like Dime and Eddie Van Halen, you got to be a badass fucking bass player to hold it down. Interesting. To musically to keep it interesting for us musicians to keep that shit going while the shredder's doing his job. So. I really, and I love Charlie Benante. He's one of the best drummers out there, still doing it, and he's in such good shape. For a guy that's been doing it as long as he has been doing it. Anthrax is one of those bands like Exodus and like Testament that have just been grinding, paying their dues. And Charlie is just one of the best guys out there in metal. So I love it, and I'm a big fan of Zach. I'm a big fan. I loved Ozzy, and this week, we'll get to this in just a moment, but this week has been a tough week when it comes for us Ozzy fans. But let's keep on rolling. Dan, what do you think about Sepultura versus Pantera?
Yeah, that's a hard one for me. I can hear you. That's just very hard for me right there, man. Yeah, I'm not gonna decide. I love them both. I'm not even gonna choose. I like both bands. Yeah, man. Pantera and Sepultura all the way for me all day. I can't choose either one, only because one's a heavy metal band, super powerful with their energy, but then you got a really great thrash band coming from Brazil, doing their thing.
Texas versus Brazil.
It's because I love Schizophrenia, man, and I love you know, I love what they did in that album. Pantera, you know, I got into Pantera like in like '93, like '94, like when Far Beyond Driven came out, like right when I moved back. Once again, because of my friend, he had some cassettes and stuff like that. He was from Dallas. He was from the Fort Worth area. But yeah, man, I can't choose on that one on this time around. You know, I just love both bands. They're both inspiring. I respect both of them hands down. Two different genres to go at it that I grew up on. So yeah, that's me, man. I can't decide on that one. That was a tough one for me.
That's a tough one. How about let's take it down to the drummers. Vince versus Igor.
I mean, I looked up to Vinnie Paul only because of his drum playing and his footwork. You know, that was something that inspired me as a drummer. Not so much Igor. I mean, because a lot of people can thrash it out. You know what I'm saying, on the skank beats. But with what Vinny was doing was pretty cool, and what he did with his brother was really put together. As musicians, coming from a country background, from like their father being like a country guy and a country producer, and then you have these two young guys, come out and produce some really good heavy metal music, So that's just, yeah. But yeah, drum wise, Vinny Paul, man, from
I get you, and that's what's special about these two bands. They're brothers. You got the Cavaleras and Sepultura. You got the Abbotts and Pantera. So knowing that, Efren, where do you stand on these two?
Dude, I love both, but we're a Texas band, man. So Pantera.
All right, okay. Hey, I love it. When my friends ask me at work today, it's like, hey, so who are you going for when it comes to football season? Well, fuck the Cowboys, but the Cowboys suck. Well, I don't give a fuck. They're my fucking Texas team. I don't give a fuck. And I don't hate Houston. I don't hate Houston. I grew up in my home. It was always Cowboys. Grandpa loved Cowboys, and that's the way it's gonna be. And I love Grandpa, so I'm a blind faith guy when it comes to the Cowboys. So, I know where you're coming from. Got to back up our Texas.
You got to go for the Texans, man.
That's right. You got for the Texans. All right. I'll give them some more love this season. All right, Fred, where you at on these two?
Oh yeah, man, Pantera. I've got a Sepultura tattoo, but I've got two Pantera tattoos. That's not.
Oh shit, 2-1.
But I will say, of course, I love Zach and Charlie and Rex and Phil, what they're carrying on with Pantera. A shout out to Andreas from Sepultura.
Yeah, Andreas Kaiser.
Influence on me. I think he's super underrated when people talk about like.
Yes, he is.
From that era, of course, Max is great too, but we're talking about lead work and stuff. I think Andreas was super creative in what he did and his use of the wah and like the stuff that he brought to Sepultura when he joined them. I think he's incredible. So, and I got to see him live recently in California. So I'm gonna go with Pantera just to get that flavor again. And I love those songs.
That again. I got it. All right, I get it. One thing I like about Andreas is that when I see him, one of my favorite concerts of all time is the Roadrunner All-Stars United show. And it happened maybe about 20 years ago already. Yeah. It was hosted by Jamie Josta. But the special thing about that is that Roadrunner was celebrating its anniversary. So they had different members from all the catalog of Roadrunner, from Slipknot to Sepultura to Machine Head. And everybody came together and sang everybody else's songs. It was fucking so badass. But Andreas was up there playing about 80% of everybody else's songs, bro. He knew everything. He was like the mainstay. And, dude, he was fucking nailing everything. So, big shout out to Andreas. Love him. Definitely one of those underrated guys, man. Big time. And, Chris, let's finish off. Sepultura versus Pantera. Where do you stand with these guys?
So, for me, it's pretty easy. I'm gonna go with Pantera, and the reason being is because I never realized how much I grew up with that band. Like, it's crazy because I started off very young because I had a friend of mine named Orly who had a brother named Hector who was older than us, and he would always go on and on about Pantera. I was like in junior high. I would spend the night at their house and stuff, and like I would always be listening to the albums and also the VHS tapes, man. Like, what's crazy was I, as a young person, I really liked them because I thought they were fun. They were entertaining, right? And then the older I got, like I realized, man, these guys are just really fucking good. And they were like they were like what I would daydream about. I was like, man, like these guys are fucking awesome. They play so many fucking huge shows. I would literally wish that I could be like them, right?
Right.
And just everything about them. And you know Fernie Salinas, he's been my best friend forever. He's played with you. He's an Annihilator, right?
Fernie.
Yeah, Fernie. And you can ask him this. Like when I was like I don't know, like 15 or 16 when I met Fernie, I would always tell Fernie, play Cemetery Gates on guitar. Because I'd always trip out that, like I said, I was always very intrigued by musicians in front of me playing shit that's just like, that sounds impossible to play. And so, you know, my favorite thing to see was somebody play Cemetery Gates on guitar. And, you know, like I said, I've had so much history with Pantera, like all the way down to when, you know, Dimebag, you know, was, you know, unfortunately killed. It like just everything. I remember everything clear as day when it comes to Pantera events for me. And the fact that we got to play the Pantera reunion show.
Oh, yes.
And you know, I'm a huge Anthrax fan. So for me, it wasn't even any doubt in my mind. I'm like, dude, that's fucking awesome that they got Charlie on drums. You know, Zach is cool and all. Like, you know, I like Black Label and all that. But for me, I thought it was fucking awesome that they're continuing with Charlie of all people. So, you know, Pantera has made me happy ever since I was a kid to now. And in fact, like I said, like I never realized how big of a fan I was back then till now, because I can go on and on about, dude, I have so many fucking memories of Pantera that it's an easy one for me. And I love Sepultura too, don't get me wrong, but just there's too much like good times that I've had because of Pantera moments, you know. I think my girlfriends at the time, you know, watch the Pantera videos with me. You got to watch this. I knew fucking every single line from the roadies to everything. So to me, they were just like the embodiment of what I wish I could have accomplished as a musician. You know what I mean? So
I know, bro. It's funny you say we know the roadie's name. Who was it? Like the Cat.
Yeah,
of course, Big Val.
Dragon.
Big Val.
Yeah, Big Val. Dude, like that was Jackass before Jackass.
Jackass. That's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
The third one, man. Like I always laugh at that fucking cake eating segment where they're trying to eat that humongous and they tell Big Val like they hey, we need somebody to come eat this big fucking thing. And he's trying to eat it, and fucking Dime's like, we raised the price, but you have to eat it all, and he couldn't do it. Dude, it's just fucking hilarious. Like, it was such good times I had with that band. So yeah,
and such great times with our friends watching this shit, right? Yeah. Best of times back then, man.
You know, they're a really tough band, but they knew how to like they were really good to their fans too. You know what I mean? So I always. They were a huge inspiration to me. Like if I were to ever like get big or anything like that, or just even small stuff, when people take the time to say you're fucking awesome and shit like that, it's like, dude, I just remember that one kid freaking out meeting, you know, and he's giving him his picks. I'm like, dude, just take my set list, take whatever, you know what I mean? Like it's cool that people that, you know, they fall in love with you know, and all that stuff. So yeah, like Pantera all the way for sure.
It's good to hear you say that, Chris, because we're fans. I think we're fans of this first, and then we see these guys playing guitar or singing or playing drums. We're like, man, I want to do that shit. And then you put your mind to it. Before you know it, your bros are on the same page as you, and you get a handful of guys that are going to be committed and start learning their shit. You start jamming, and here we are, 20 years, 20 plus years later, after being in the game, and it feels good to be at your best right now, man. And it's because of all the hustle, all the grinding. You just got off the road. You know what I mean? You're playing back-to-back nights, man. So you guys are seasoned, conditioned professionals, bro. So Kryptik Mutation is definitely a force to be reckoned with nationwide as well as internationally, because you guys bring the heat, you bring the metal, and it's done with fun. The way we like it as metalheads, we don't like to take things too seriously. We want to have some fun, and when it relates to cool things that we like horror movies and video games, man, that's just the bonus. That's a bonus to everything.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Before I wrap things up, this has been a really tough week for me and a lot of other heads because Ozzy passed away, and today we lost another legend, man, Hulk Hogan. Growing up, I was a big wrestling fan as a kid. Hulk was just one of the guys that I did like as well. Undertaker's always been my favorite. And if I ever if I ever could be in a big band, I would want Undertaker to fucking come out on stage and like fucking with the fucking everything, dude, with the fucking chimes. And it's been a dream of mine to have that kind of shit, this kind of show go on. But Hulk Hogan was a game changer. But let's get back to Ozzy, the godfather of metal. He got that last concert in, bro. That last nobody gets the last show like that, bro, where you get all your friends. And it was from that era that I grew up with in Ozfest, where you had Slayer, Pantera, Megadeth, of course, that was the one out of the big four that wasn't there. But of course, you had Metallica, you had Anthrax on there. Then you had just a cast of big time lovers of Sabbath. And how did the death of Ozzy affect you guys this week?
Well, you know, I work in a hospital with a lot of older cats, and it's like you don't really realize how many people listen to Ozzy. Like, you know, he's extremely popular, but you don't really realize how many people, like, especially some of the older cats, that was their soundtrack to their life. You know, Ozzy.
Yes.
So for me, I didn't necessarily myself not listen to too much of that. I've heard a lot of, I've heard a lot of it, like, as I've gone playing guitar, you know, Crazy Train, Iron Man, all that stuff. But seeing how it affected all the older cats and throughout the entire workday, it's just nothing but Ozzy and Black Sabbath and stuff. So, you know, for me personally, I knew he was a pioneer in metal. He was one who kind of paved one pathway that led to the top for us, you know, that we can see. Because there's a lot of other greats out there that did great things, but he was the one that made it to, you know, the top of the mountain, man. So for me, a lot of people were sad with this last concert. I saw it as more of a passing of the torch. But now that he actually passed it, it was kind of like a passing of the torch. And I felt like he was kind of like, okay, I did what I needed to do. Now it's time for everybody else to do what they need to do. You know what I mean? So that's so it affected me in the sense of like, you know what, we got to carry the torch. We got to keep going. And, you know, we got to strive for, you know, the top of the mountain, man.
Yes, keep that heavy metal flag fucking flying proudly and loudly. Yeah. What about the rest of you guys? Dan, anybody else want to make comment about Oz?
Well, when John he's the one who told us in our group chat that Ozzy had passed, and like, no joke, I was listening to Ozzy right before that, driving around with my son, and he loves certain Ozzy tracks, like Perry Mason's one of his favorites. So, like, I've already passed it on to the next generation. I think his music's timeless, what he did with Black Sabbath and what he did in his solo career. And as a guitar player, him, you know, working with Tony Iommi, fucking Randy Rhoads, one of the best, Jake E. Lee, you know, and of course Zakk Wylde. His influence in the guitar world, I think, is sometimes overlooked because he worked with the best, and he created some of the most timeless metal music of all time. So it's a bummer, but I think what John was saying, like when he saw that crowd in his hometown, to have a hometown show that much love, I feel like he might have felt like, okay, my legacy is secure. I know that I accomplished what I was put on this earth to do. I can rest now, and he went out on top. No one could get any better send off than that. I think Ozzy's the fucking
definitely best. Agree with that 1,000%. I think the next one that we're going to be seeing like that is probably going to be, I mean, I think as far as band wise, that might throw in the towel is probably going to be Metallica. You know what I mean? Where they're going to be like, you know what, this is probably going to be it. Who knows if it'll be 5 years or, you know, when that might be. But, you know, I feel like you said, it's a passing of the torch. Well, you know, if anybody's got the torch next, I would feel like it'd be Metallica.
Yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, Keith Richards is still going to keep going.
Keith Richards says, fuck y'all, right? You ain't got shit on me. Oh, shit. But it has been a tough week, man. I grew up with Ozzy. I love Ozzy, man. I saw him on Bark at the Moon. I saw him the No More Tours with fucking Alice in Chains on the Dirt album. Seen 8 Ozfest. Went to Osmosis. Went to Black Rain. Went to Retirement Sucks tour. I love Ozzy, dude. I love him so much. He's changed my life. Growing up as a kid, I used to buy the vinyls and stay at grandma's house while they went to go play bingo and just going through the lyrics and just loved it, man. Just loved everything. Loved Tommy Aldridge as a drummer, coming from a drummer's point of view. And, you know, love the mystique about what Ozzy kind of brought to the table, you know, being into like Mr. Crowley, the devilish kind of shit. And even till this day, I was thinking, did Ozzy sell his soul to the devil? Because who gets a fucking life that parties as hard as him, that's been through as much shit, unless you sell your fucking soul to the devil? And I thought, you know, when they played NIB at the Back to the Beginning tour show, I thought this is like his ode to the devil right here. You know what I mean? Because that's all about the devil, you know. And so, needless to say, I could ramble on about Ozzy, and God bless it, just because I'm the old school, bro. Like you said, John, you know, old school, it hit us hard, bro. It hit us so hard, but you know, there's so much. Ozzy brought a stage for so many big bands like Metallica, Sepultura, Typo Negative, Cold Chamber, Machine Head. The list goes on and on. Meshuggah, Hatebreed, Slipknot, all these bands that were on Ozfest are where they're at because they had that platform and they're able to start selling records and shit because he gave them something to get out there and kick ass on stage. So I really love the metal brotherhood that he stood for, and he was being an ambassador, bringing everybody together. But let me wrap this up by saying that, you know, you guys in Kryptik Mutation, when I saw y'all, you're my kind of band, bro. You got everything that I love, man. You got a great crossover of death metal and thrash metal. The vocals are, you know, they got that kind of depth that I want, where it doesn't sound like anybody else. It's unique to you. And the presence that you guys got up on stage between John and Fred and Ephraim is fucking fantastic, bro. Great presence. Dan makes it look like he'd rather be somewhere else because it's so easy for him back there sometimes.
That's why he is somewhere else.
I mean, it's totally a compliment, man, because he just make it look so at ease, man. But it's so crushing. But really love you guys, man. I can't wait to see you guys. I was hoping you guys would be here to also play with MOD on Saturday, but sooner than later, I want to see you guys real soon. I'm talking August 23rd for sure. August 23rd, everybody out there. Annihilator, Sex Cult, and fucking Kryptik Mutation. I'm trying to get the name of the place off the top of my head. What's it called? Valhalla. That's right. The infamous Valhalla in Austin. Saturday, August 23rd. Catch our bands, Annihilator and Kryptik Mutation. But anybody that's in Corpus that can get out of town tomorrow, go to the Valley, man. Kryptik is going to put on a kick-ass show tomorrow night. They're joined by the Valley's greatest bands out there. And MOD is going to be there to fucking throw down. So get out there, pick up some Kryptik Mutation merch, pick up a vinyl if they still got it, and look up their music on Spotify, join their YouTube channel, subscribe to that. Get ready for some new music that's coming out. Give me the title for the new album again, Chris.
The new album's going to be called Possessed by the Diseased, and it's going to have some tracks like Gore Breaker, Veins on a Castle Wall, Infestation of Sanity, Acidic Insemination. It's going to have all kinds of cool shit. So it's definitely an upgrade from the last album. So as anyone would, you know, love to have, and we can honestly say that yes, it is definitely a step up. So it's going to be pretty tight.
Oh yeah.
Fuck yeah, it's going to be very fucking tight. Thank you, Chris, Fred, Ephraim, Dan, John. Anything else you want to throw in before we shut things off tonight, guys?
Just thanks for having us, and of course, like, thank y'all who have ever stood by us and watched us play and stuff. So can't wait to play more. Yeah, so it's cool, you know. So I'm glad we get to talk about metal like this, and it shows like oh yeah, I forgot we're also in a band. We were talking about so much fan shit, but we implement that in the fact that we're in a band. So yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, man. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Appreciate meeting you guys the other night when I got to meet you all in person. Super cool guys, and really look forward to finally getting you on the show. Thanks for your hospitality and sharing with me some great stories tonight and your influences, your backgrounds. Had a great time, man. So can't wait to see you guys in about a month from now in person if they're in Austin. And till then, Keep grinding. Have a great show tomorrow night, and I'll see you guys soon.
All right, brother. Thank you, man.
Take it easy. Kryptik Mutation in the house. Thanks for watching the show tonight. We'll see you again real soon. Take it easy, guys.
Later.
Later.